Welcome to the Art of Likability, ranked one of the top podcasts in the world. In this podcast, you'll discover how to leverage likability to build stronger relationships, lead more efficiently, close more sales, and keep customers happy while increasing success in your professional and personal life. Let's jump in with your host, Arel Moody.
What's going on, Likability family? Arel Moody here, your host of the Art of Likability podcast, where we teach you the skills and things you need to build incredible life, relationships, and, sneakers, and pants. I can't really do anything about your clothing, but I can make you feel good regardless of what you wear based on how much you like yourself and like those around you. And that's what we do with this podcast. We show you how to like yourself and like others around you and have them like you and have you be connected to everyone and the beings and universe and creating. And it's just all good, baby. That's what I'm trying to say. What we do is all good. So what I want to talk to you today about in this week is a very simple concept that can be very overlooked for how powerful it is. And the idea in its simplicity is, what are you doing to add value to the world? I want you to think about this, get clear on it. Now, you might be someone who's like, oh, Barrel, I'm so significant, I'm so important. I get all that jazz. But I want you to define and get clear right now, when you look at the world, when you look around it, how are you creating value in the world? What is it that you're doing that's making the world better because you exist? The more value you add to the world, the more purpose you have, the more you love and like your life. So many times people get strung out and stressed out. And when you look at people when they get very sad and depressed and unhappy, and again, this isn't all situations. Obviously, there's always exceptions to the rule. So by no means am I saying this is a catch-all experience. But what I've noticed as patterns, if you look at people, when we're most cut off from the world, typically we're not contributing to others. We are isolating ourselves from others. We're not really adding value at the level that we feel we could or should. So typically we're either not adding at all, so we're just in consumption mode. We're consuming content, we're watching videos, we're watching Netflix, we're watching TV shows and, silly things, reading gossip blogs and rags and magazines and all that jazz. You're reading that stuff, you're consuming content, but you're not actually adding value to the world. And at different points, the value we add is completely different. Maybe the value you add is as a parent right now, and the value is raising a good person in the world. Well, that's a good value. Maybe the value that you're adding to the world is that you are running a very successful business that employs people. Maybe it's that you are planting organic gardens and providing food for people, whatever it is. The thing is, the value we add, we have to get crystal clear right now on what is our value proposition in life. And I ask you to really reflect and get clear, not just say, oh, no, I'm good on this side. You have to articulate it. Here is the current value I am adding to the world. Now, for those of you who get stuck with this, they go, well, I don't know. I don't know. I've been struggling with that. I've been feeling meaningless or purposeless. Well, just ask yourself, what is it that you spend a lot of your time thinking about? What is it? Maybe what are the problems in the world that annoy you the most? What are the things that piss you off, that drive you? Solving those problems, you may not be able to solve them, but helping solve them will be how you add value to the world. And you got to think everything in life is kind of like the dripping of water on a stone. It's these small drips over time that actually create a hole in a rock. So the actions you take, you may just look at it as just another drip. That one individual drip on a rock doesn't really make a significant change, but over time it does. So you had to look at kind of the big picture and play a bigger role in how you view the world and how you view yourself. So I encourage you to start thinking a little bit more about that value that you add. What are the problems in the world that piss you off? What are the things that you wish were better? And figure out, what can I control about it? I'm a very big believer in control the controllables. What are the areas in your life that piss you off that you wish were better? And then say, well, okay, maybe you can't solve climate change right now and getting people to actually believe climate change is a real thing. Good Lord. The fires that have been happening in Montana, the earthquakes that have been happening in Mexico, the floods in India, the ridiculous sized hurricanes of Harvey and Irma, Like if people aren't realizing that, yo, listen, there is something going down with nature. Listen, we can't win a war against nature, okay? If nature decides to fight us, we lose as humans, people. Okay, we lose. We can't, what are you gonna fight a hurricane? You can't punch a hurricane in the face. But we can figure out what are the things that we're doing that are leading to a dramatic change and shift in the way the world is through warming and all of that stuff, right? Well, let's say that's important to you. Okay, so if that's important to you, well, what can you do? What's a controllable? Like control the controllables. Maybe you can start writing about it to your social media network. Maybe you can start researching it, watching documentaries on it, getting involved, finding out what other people's calls to actions are around it. Like maybe that will give you purpose. It doesn't necessarily have to be connected to your actual career. It doesn't have to be something that you are making money from. It could just be something that provides you purpose. Maybe your purpose is to say, you know what, I'm gonna go visit some old folks and add value by visiting people in retirement homes and old folks' homes or hospices and just providing some companionship and some friendship. It's a great value to add to the world. Maybe you're mentoring a young person. Maybe you're getting involved in a mentor program and you just hang out with a kid. And people think mentoring is sometimes mentoring is just like playing chess or basketball with someone or, whatever. It's just being a positive older influence. I mean, it doesn't have to be a real formalized system a lot of the times. But I would promise you that when you feel most happy, when you feel most in love with life, you're of most value and service to the world. So get clear on where do you add value? What value are you adding to the world? What skill sets have you developed that maybe you need to start sharing with others in a teaching format? I encourage many of you to start your own podcast, start your own blog. A lot of people say, oh, there's so much content out there. Well, why create a podcast? Well, I could have said the same thing about this podcast and we wouldn't be, hundreds of episodes deep into sharing this content and having incredible life-changing experiences for people. I mean, I get these messages from people. It changes my life. And what if I would have believed that I had nothing of value to offer? Sometimes it doesn't matter. Like if there's other people writing about it, like, well, there's other people who write about this subject. So why do I need to write about it? Because that person can't reach every single human in the world. The world needs your voice. The world needs your message. Like you got to get that. Like you didn't go through the life experiences and things you had for no reason. So give yourself permission to reach out and grow. Give yourself permission to be valuable to the world. That's my challenge for you. Sit down, piece of paper and pen, thoughts, whatever you wanted to do, and ask yourself, how can I be of more value to the world? How can I give more? Can I create a blog, a podcast? Can I mentor? Can I, add, maybe you need to be of more value at your workplace and you've got ideas that could be great, but you're just sitting on them. So stop sitting on them. Share them. What's happened? Someone says no, so what? Listen, I think you're whole and complete as a human being, okay? You may do things that are not whole and complete. You may do things that are stupid. It doesn't mean you're stupid. If you cheated on a test when you were in high school, does that mean you're a cheater for the rest of your life? No, you cheated. It's a thing you did. It doesn't represent who you are. If you cheat on one test in high school, you're going around thinking that you're a cheater. If you lied once in your life, are you a liar? No, it just means you lied. So sometimes you forget your amazingness because of these mistakes you've done or made, so you think you don't have value to the world. No, those are just things you did. It doesn't represent who you are. Who you are is someone who's amazing, who can develop the world. I actually found someone who said they were a brain neuroscientist, and they said the brain is amazing. The brain can learn anything. The brain can do anything. So basically, like literally neuroplasticity, it's a real thing. So if you have a brain, that means you can be successful. So if you have a brain, congratulations. The ability to be successful and create an amazing world is possible for you. So go add value to the world. Get clear, where are you adding value? If you don't have a clear answer on this, let it drive you nuts until you get the answer. Just think, where am I adding value? Where am I adding value? Where am I adding value? If you're clear on where you're adding value, get really, really crystal clear so you can articulate how you're currently adding the most value. Because it changes month to month, day to day, year to year sometimes. But you got to get clear on it. So this information won't help you. Listening to this podcast won't do anything. But for some of you, this may be the most important podcast episode you've ever listened to in your life. I really, truly mean that. Because if it forces you to focus and think on the value you're adding to the world and not just consuming content, but creating content, creating value, not just consuming value, you might find yourself living a life that you dreamed of. And that's what we're trying to do here with this podcast. I really do believe it's possible. Sending you all a big old high five, y'all. Implement this information. The power is in action. You are awesome.
Thanks for listening. Make sure to subscribe to our podcast, The Art of Likability, and reach out with any questions you have. Until next time, remember, my friend, you are awesome.